Hi, I'm Chris from Airwindows, and I teased this one before. Here it is for realsies. It's called Pop. This is a compressor, but it's not just any compressor, it's an insane compressor. It's a dynamic inverting compressor. Here's the deal. Pop was designed to be a compressor like old Phil Collins vocals in the 80s, which in some cases went through, if I'm not mistaken, a hardware box called a level lock. And a level lock is a particular kind of compressor that's not very nice. In fact, it's kind of insane sounding. You could squish it in such a way that it just ate everything and destroyed the voice completely and left nothing but sort of punctuation and glottal stops and things just jumping out of the mix harshly. Maybe a little bit like this. Something attacked me! Ah! So that's the purpose in your video mix down, because the guy who was recording it was getting really loud! Ah! And stuff like that. That's a quick voice clip. The idea is that you'll be setting your levels. People need to be able to hear when you're talking. And so they're going to clip. Their recordings are going to clip. They'll clip very much. And hear what I'm talking about? Be ready to deal with the noises that they make. So sometimes get attacked by monsters. And so they're going to clip. So the idea... Their recordings are going to clip. They'll clip very much. And you got your dry wet. You've got to be ready to deal with the noises that they make. So basically that's the idea with a quick voice clip. Thank you very much, and goodbye! So as you can see, this is an insane little compressor. The whole idea is that it explodes out these tiny details harshly. It's so harshly, in fact, that I blew past my bit shift gain. We've also got it on drums. That's arguably too much compression. And then normalcy. And then back into the realms of insanity, where we enjoy things so much. See, that's already pretty fat. But we could go farther. Yes, we could. Now this is designed to volume invert in a peculiar way. Like some of this stuff just sounds ridiculous. There's a zone just past full crank. Or just shy of full crank, where it's really gonna do that volume inverty thing. And we can dial it back a little bit. It's very subtle sometimes. We got your classic sort of insane, overloaded Fairchild madness. Because like many things, this is based on the Varimu code. But as you can hear, it's going a little beyond. Because it has a bunch of very strange little tricks in it. Or we can do a mix. Now this is total madness, of course. Just whacking out all over the place. But of course we can also cool it out. And you can see how it suits you. It's just a sort of bus compressor style-y thing. It gets a nice low end, this one. And the reverb is sort of hovering around behind you. Or push it harder, and the reverb is hovering around in front of you. Or the reverb is leaping out at you in strange ways. This thing is basically just nuts. It's just completely bonkers. I tested this out on the recording that I've told you about, the processor torture test, that originally came from some people that were designing a digital broadcast processor for radio stations. And they claimed that their processor was more high performance than anybody else's hardware or software. And they used this track to demonstrate it, which was just clips of lots of different commercial music clipped together, all essentially CD quality. It's all uncompressed 16-bit. So you could get some good, I mean, it wasn't the highest of fidelity, but on the other hand, it was a really wide range of CDs out there, all different dynamic ranges, all different loudness levels. And the idea was, can you smush these together? Well, pop kind of could, but then it would also go completely insane. You know, like we're talking about this. Just wacky stuff coming out. And that's not even really giving the impression. Like there was the Yes track, "I Wonder for a Lonely Heart" on there, and that's a really well mixed track. And what it would do if Pop smushed it is congeal into an equally good but completely different mix that sort of sprang and bounced at you constantly. And there would be this distant, because that entire album is loaded with digital reverb. There would be this reverb sort of hovering around everything, periodically leaping forwards, and strange little phenomena happening, like little vocal trails and things buried in the reverb that would come up and sort of hover in front of your face. It was really... This is a crazy, crazy little plugin. It does wacky things. Here, let's try it in Alien Kittens, just for lulz. Okay, that's very distorty, but since it's so loud, yeah, and that sound back there, that's a reverb. So let's do the insane reverb dance. See what I mean about this is just an insane... Now the main body of the music is gone, but the reverb is hovering. And now we have an alternately vanishing and ultra huge snare sound. It's very 80s. A little dry. Okay, this is pretty nuts. Compare this with this. As you can see, there's a lot of craziness in store here. I've got the drums jumping out and doing very crazy things. Let's go normal C. But what fun is normal C when you can go 80s? Anyways, Pop is the latest compressor out of Airwindows, and I know I've done a bunch of them, but if you listen to them and play with them, you'll see that all of them behave a little differently. It's always because there's something strange and different going on in the algorithm. Like, this one has a bunch of really weird stuff going on in its algorithm. It starts out with the same very mu code, but then there's additional stuff going on that just takes it into a whole different land. And there's a lot of things having to do with, like, what happens when you have a track and you take it from normal behavior into complete volume inversion. How does the compressor react when you've taken it to complete volume inversion? Like, what remains when you've squashed it in such a way that your loudest sounds actually become the quietest sounds? You know, what kind of noises burst out from nowhere? If you're doing that, what will you do if you also include some dry in there? And what kind of fun can you have with a crazy tool like this? Obviously, you can have all kinds of fun with a crazy tool like this. So yeah, this was designed to do vocals. It was designed to do vocals in a way that obliterated them, much like some of our favorite 80s tracks, where the vocal is just nuts, and the subtlest little details are jumping out in your face, and then incredibly loud screams and things are also plastered into the same fabric. And it also does crazy things with drums, and it does crazy things with mixes, and it does crazy things with pretty much anything you could ask. So, you know, pop goes the compressor. I really hope you like this plugin. It's available for free to anybody who needs it, obviously. And if it's if you'd pay $50 for this as a commercial plugin, then please jump on my Patreon and behave as if it was a $50 plugin, and throw me, say, I don't know, $50 a year, or less if you want, or more if you want, or more if you're using lots of my plugins. But it's not a rule. I don't have to make it a rule. I can just roll with stuff, and things will hopefully be okay. And one of the things that is really okay is that, once again, I've been able to turn out, you know, in my desired roughly plug-in a week pace. I think this one actually compares really well to, you know, it's not just like throwing out a random variation on something. It might be a random variation on something, but it's a pretty nutty variation on something. And I hope you like it. Thanks. I'll talk to you later.